Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're gearing up for any major exam in India, you know the economic survey is non-negotiable. So today we're going to do the heavy lifting for you. We're breaking down the absolute most crucial chapter, the state of the economy. We'll pull out all the key data, the trends, and the insights you absolutely have to know. So let's dive right in.
All right, so here's the big question on everyone's mind. The world is, well, it's a complicated place right now, right? Geopolitical tensions, shaky supply chains, and really uneven growth. So, amidst all that, how on earth is the Indian economy holding up so well? That's the core story we're going to unravel today, how India is navigating these really choppy economic waters. And here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the big global picture. Then we'll zoom right into the Indian engine to see what's making it tick. After that, we'll check out the anchors that are keeping our economy stable, chart the course for what's next, and wrap it all up with a super high-value summary, tailor-made for your exams. Get your notes ready. First up, let's talk about the global economy. To really appreciate how well India is doing, you first have to understand the kind of international headwinds we're sailing against. And believe me, it's a world of contrasts out there. This slide really nails a key global theme right now, divergence. On one hand, you've got the US economy just powering through with a solid 2.8% growth, really resilient. But on the other hand, look at the euro area, lagging way behind at just 0.8%, mostly because its manufacturing sector is struggling. This split personality of the global recovery is super important to understand. Okay, quick timeout for a term you're going to see everywhere in your exams, the PMI. The best way to think about it is like a monthly report card for the economy. If the score is above 50, things are expanding, they're growing. If it's below 50, things are shrinking. It's a fantastic little sneak peek into where the economy is headed. And check this out. This chart just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the global manufacturing PMI. It's just hovering around that 50 mark, basically stagnating. But then you look at the services PMI, a really strong 53.8. So the big takeaway here is that globally, it's the services sector that's really keeping the lights on and driving growth right now. But here's where the India story gets really interesting. Despite that global manufacturing slowdown we just talked about, India's PMI is way out in front. It's the clear leader among all emerging markets, showing the strongest expansion by far. This right here, this is a perfect example of that resilience, and it's a golden data point for your answers. Okay, so we've set the global stage. We've seen the storm outside. Now, let's turn our focus inward and take a look under the hood at the powerful domestic engine that's propelling India forward. All right, here it is, the headline number you absolutely have to burn into your memory, 6.4%. That's the projected real GDP growth for fiscal year 25. It's a big, solid number that signals steady momentum, and trust me, it's a must-know for both your prelims and your mains. So where is all this growth actually coming from? This chart breaks down the gross value added, or GVA, which is just a way of measuring how much each sector is contributing. And you can see, while agriculture and industry are doing well, the real star of the show is the services sector, growing at a massive 7.2%. It is clearly the main engine for India's economy at the moment. But hold on, the story within services is a bit more nuanced. It's not a uniform recovery. Financial services, they were the first ones to bounce back. Then public administration caught up. But the sectors that rely on face-to-face contact, like trade and tourism, are still playing catch-up. So for your exams, here's a really easy way to remember the order. Just think FPT. F, financial services recovered first, P, public administration passed next, and T, trade and tourism are still trailing behind. Now, let's switch gears to investment, or what economists love to call gross fixed capital formation. What we see here is a bit of a slowdown in growth, from over 10% last year to 6.4% in the first half of this year. But on its own, that number can be a little misleading. Right, so when you see that number, your first thought might be, uh-oh, investment is a weak spot. But hold on, the headline figure really doesn't tell the full story. And for a great analytical answer in your mains exam, you have to understand the why behind the number. The good news is, this slowdown looks to be temporary. And here are all the reasons to be optimistic. First, government spending on big projects, which kind of slowed down during the elections, is already picking back up. Second, private companies have really strong order books. Third, and this is crucial, factories are running at nearly 75% capacity, which basically means they're getting full and will have to build new ones soon. And finally, companies are signaling their intention to invest more. These 4 points, they're your perfect framework for a mains answer on India's investment climate. Okay, So we've seen the growth engine is humming along. But what's keeping the whole thing stable? What's keeping the Indian economic ship steady in these rough seas? Well, the answer lies in three super important macroeconomic anchors: our fiscal, external, and financial stability. This chart is just a fantastic visual of our external anchor in action. So yeah, it's true. We import more goods than we export, which creates that trade deficit you see in the red. But look at the two giant blue bars that cancel it out: our massive surplus from services and record-breaking remittances sent home by Indians abroad. These two are like our economic superheroes. And the results of that incredible balancing act? Our current account deficit, or CAD, is at a very comfortable, very manageable 1.2% of GDP. This is a key sign of our external strength and a number you should definitely jot down. Now for the financial anchor. And this number, wow, this is just incredible. The gross NPA ratio, which is basically the percentage of bad loans in our banking system, has dropped to just 2.6%. That is a 12-year low. It signals a huge turnaround in the health and stability of our banks. All right, we've taken a deep dive into where we are right now. So let's shift our gaze to the horizon and look at the projected course for the Indian economy. What does the voyage ahead actually look like? And here's the official forecast right from the survey. For the next financial year, FY26, the economy is projected to grow somewhere in the range of 6.3 to 6.8%. Now, this range reflects that constant balancing act between our strong domestic drivers and those nagging global headwinds. And this slide gives you that perfect, balanced perspective you need for an analytical question. The good news, the upsides, are things we control: rebounding world demand, that investment pickup, and hopefully lower food inflation. The risks, the downsides, are mostly external: geopolitical drama, trade issues, and sudden price shocks. And here we are. We have reached the most critical section for your last-minute revision. Think of this as the ultimate cheat sheet, the exam snapshot, boiling down everything we've just talked about into high-yield, super memorable points. Okay, rapid-fire revision time. Let's lock this in. 1. FY25 GDP growth estimated at 6.4%, driven by services at 7.2%. 2. Global divergence, with a strong U.S. at 2.8% versus a weak euro area at 0.8%. 3. Manufacturing resilience. India's PMI is the strongest among emerging markets. 4. Investment moderated to 6.4%, but the outlook is positive. 5. External stability. The CAD is contained at a manageable 1.2%. 6. Financial stability. Our bank NPAs are at a 12-year low of 2.6%. 7. Inflation is softening, but we need to watch out for food prices. And 8. The outlook for FY26 is for growth between 6.3 and 6.8%. Got it? Good. And we'll leave you with a question to chew on. Forget the short-term numbers for a second. What is the one big, game-changing reform that you think could truly unlock India's potential for the next decade and really push us into the next orbit? It's something to seriously think about for your essays and interviews. Thanks for joining this deep dive, and all the very best for your preparations.